Earned value management is a performance metric which can be used in order to manage a project by answering the following questions. How much of the project has been completed so far? Is the project on schedule? Is the project within budget? EVM essentially helps answer this question. Have we got to where we want to be at this moment in time? It does this by generating and comparing the following three figures at a specific point in time throughout the life cycle of a project. Planned value, the cost estimated to be spent at this point. Actual cost, the real and true cost to date. And earned value, which shows how much of the budget and time should have been spent to get to this point in the project. For example, let us imagine you want to landscape your garden. You have broken down the activities required in order to get from the garden you have now, point A, to the garden that you've always dreamt of, point D. Now between point A and D, there are a number of tasks that must be completed. Point A, site clearance. Point B, fencing. Point C, turfing. And finally, point D, the decoration and finishing touches. You have a total budget of £8,000 in place to cover all the above tasks and end up with your perfect garden. You estimate that you have 6 weeks in order to complete every task and allow the following amounts of time and costs to each stage. First, the site clearance. You want to spend 2 weeks and approximately £1,000. Then the fencing for 1 week at approximately £2,500. Thirdly, the turfing at 1 week for £3,500. And finally, the decoration and finishing costs. That's 2 weeks at £1,000. Now, this time and cost estimate before the project starts becomes your planned value. After the first 2 weeks, the site clearance activity is finished on time, but you've gone over the budget and spent £1,500 instead of £1,000. The fencing overruns and takes 2 weeks rather than the 1 week planned, which also incurred an additional cost as a consequence. The actual cost totaled £3,500 compared to the £2,500 you planned. After 4 weeks of the project, you want to assess the performance to date, so calculate the earned value at this point. The earned value is simply calculated by taking the actual activity durations and the planned activity costs and plotting the three figures in a graph. From looking at the graph, it's possible to calculate the performance by looking at the disparity and the differences between the values, termed variances. The cost variance helps to show whether the project is on budget. In this example, the cost variance would be the actual cost of £5,000 minus the earned value at £3,500, giving a difference of £1,500, or in other terms, 30% over budget. The schedule variance, which shows whether a project is on program, would be earned value minus the planned value. So for this project, it would be earned value at £3,500 minus a planned value at £7,000, totaling negative £3,500. If you work this out as a percentage, it would be expressed as 50% behind schedule. These figures can also be turned into indices, where the performance is turned into a ratio rather than a percentage. The indices are useful as they provide a clear and concise visual on progress of a project. If you are perfectly on track to completing your dream garden, the cost performance index and the schedule performance index would be at 1. Above 1 would mean that you're doing a better job than planned, and below 1 means you're doing worse. Unfortunately, this garden project currently has the following CPI and SPIs, again confirming that it's running over project and over program. Perhaps it's time to conduct some risk management and assess some ways to pull the project back on track. Metroun, a commercial hub to your business.